Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jenny. I'm here today to share with you a book tag. I was tagged by the wonderful Sandy from Miss Reads a Lot, and I was tagged to do the Don't You Forget About Me tag, which was created by Jolene at Bookworm Adventure Girl. So this is a really fun tag. It actually took me a while to remember or to figure out which books I was going to put in each category. But luckily, when you keep a record of your reading, as I do on Goodreads, it's easier to go back and find those books and talk about them. So the first prompt is clean slates, books you've read that you don't remember anything about. So I have two for this one. One is Silk by Alessandro Baricco. So I watched the film of this book, and first I watched the film, and then I thought, I watched that film, I'll read the book. But it really didn't leave much of an impression, and now I don't really remember much of the plot other than it's a trip that a Western person is doing to try to get into China to get the silkworms. So I think that was what it was, but and there was a love story, I think, but I just really have lost that book. It didn't leave a huge impression on me. And the second one is The Year We Turned 40 by Liz Fenton. And I read this in 2017, the year I turned 40. And I remember wanting to read it for the reason that I was turning 40, but now, years later, I have no recollection of what happened in this book. I think that there was maybe time travel, and there were three friends, but I don't really remember much. It didn't leave much of an impression on me. It was a contemporary fiction, and I just didn't get much out of it. So the next prompt is Genie's Lamp, books you wish you could forget. So I actually I'm just gonna go with two. I did actually write down three for this one, but I'm gonna go with two. The first one being Olive Again by Elizabeth Strout, which is really interesting because recently some people that I'm friends with on Goodreads have been reading this and gave it 5 stars, and it is, I think that for me, the Olive Kitteridge books are Marmite. You either love them or you hate them. And I didn't read the original Olive Kitteridge. I read Olive Again, which is a compendium of a whole bunch of people living in the town around Olive Kitteridge's experiences, and Olive is kind of peppered into these vignette stories. It is a novel. It just feels like short stories to me. And I struggled with it so much. I wasn't really a fan of Olive herself. And then I really didn't like the way a lot of the issues that Elizabeth Strout was bringing up were handled in the story. And I just would have preferred not to have ever read it, to be honest with you. And then the other one is also another darling right now, or the author is. So Deacon King Kong by James McBride. Kind of a similar vibe, actually, to Olive Again. The only difference being that Deacon King Kong has a cast of characters, and there's not really a central character as far as I can remember. It's more of this cast of characters and what's going on with them as they live in Harlem, I believe, or it could be the Bronx in New York. And it was just a style of reading that I didn't enjoy very much. And it's just not my cup of tea, the way he wrote the story and the way the characters were. So I just wish that I hadn't read those books and I could forget them. So the next one is Forgotten Gems, books you think need more love. So I have two for that one. Bear by Marian Engel is one of them. Marian Engel was a Canadian author. She's since passed away, and she wrote an amazing book called Bear in the 1970s. And if you haven't heard it, the most famous thing about this book is that the main character has an intimate relationship with a bear. It's very metaphorical. It's very well put together. To me, it is a masterpiece. It's very stunning. It's a summer story. It's a slice of life story, and I really think everyone should read it. And I think that, you know, if you can see the metaphors within it, and not take it too literally, I think it's just an amazing book. A short one as well. And the next one that I picked was Frog Music by Emma Donoghue. So interestingly enough, I was just in a bookstore in San Francisco. It's actually the bookstore that is in the San Francisco airport in Terminal 2. If you ever happen to be there, please check it out. It's actually a great bookstore. And there were a lot of reviews in the bookstore of employees of the bookshop giving their reviews of books, and one of them had put a little card with Frog Music by Emma Donoghue. And that was the first time I actually saw that book for sale in a bookstore. So I was really impressed by this person because they raved about this book, and I also think it is exceptional. It is historical fiction, San Francisco. It's actually based on a real woman who was alive in the, I think it's the 1870s. She was a real pusher of boundaries. She was arrested for wearing pants. She did her own thing, and the way that this book evokes San Francisco, it was like there was actually some sort of a pandemic going on there at that time. It was a flu or something like that, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but that's also happening at the same time as the story. There's so much in there. It's great. It's really, really rich with character and plot. And I think it's, out of all the Emma Donoghues I've read, it's definitely one of the best. So I would highly recommend you checking it out. Forget-me-nots, books you will always remember. So I've picked two for this one, and I do have these here with me. One of them is The Break by Katherena Vermette. I believe I read this last year, and I just loved these characters so much. They have become a part of my heart, and I'm very excited to read the next two books because they're loosely connected. It's a loosely connected trilogy continuing along with a lot of these characters, and I'm just really, really excited to, this book will never leave me. I'll definitely reread it in the future. I just think it has so much richness. It has pain mixed together with joy. And I think an author who can do that, who can show you the hard things in life and mix joy and warmth and family and love into that, is a master at their craft. And so Katherena Vermette is definitely that for me with The Break. And the other one is The Diviners by Margaret Laurence. This is my favorite novel of all time. Another Canadian novel. Lots of Canadians on this list, actually. And I'm actually rereading this as part of my 4 rereads for 2024 this year. And I would say the same thing about this book. You have the joy of life mixed with the sadness and the hard parts of life. You have an exceptionally rich main character of Marian Gunn, who grows up, in the, I think she's born in the 1930s, and, becomes of age post-World War II. And so you just get this very amazing story of this woman who is, going kind of against the odds at being a writer and at being in a world that's not really made for her, but she strives and she figures out who she is, and she loves and loses and does all the things along the way that make a life rich and great. So love this. I'm very excited to reread it. I'm still waffling about when I'm going to reread it, but it'll be happening soon. Okay, so if you haven't done this tag, please consider me tagging you. I'm tagging you right now. Thank you so much, Sandy, for tagging me for this tag. And I'd love to talk to you more about any of these books if you have any questions in the comments below. And I will be back again soon with another video. Thank you so much for watching.